Welcome to the Wrestling Nerds Alliance podcast, featuring Robb English, Clifford L. Johnson,
some show, you gotta go ham off. Trying to stay afloat, you gotta go ham. Just so you ain't that nigga struggling as an old man.
Oh man, it's time once again for everybody to come aboard the WNA train. I didn't get like a train whistle or anything from you, Cliff.
Nah, man, that was lame.
Wow.
You're starting to show out.
I mean,
terribly. If this is the first time somebody's listened to this show, they've already turned it off.
Oh man. All right. Let me try it again. All right, ready? All right, hang on. 1,
Take
2,
two.
3. Hey, everybody. Hey. Welcome to the WNA podcast. I'm Robb, and with me is he's my friend, and we're friends,
Yay.
and we're talking to you. Yay! That better?
Yay!
Yay! Was that?
That was
that
worse.
better? No.
Nope, that was worse.
Okay. Hey, everybody!
Yep.
Welcome to the fucking show. I'm Robb.
I'm Clifford L. Johnson.
And we are WNA. That was better. That felt better. I just want to get this out of the way really quick. A member of the Podcast World Order, which is a group of podcasts, that we all kind of look out for each other. We're wrestling affiliated podcasts. Couple of guys, Matt and Bats over at the Gimmick Table podcast. I really don't want to, drag this on for too long on here because I don't want to give too much time to a, competitor, if you will. But I feel like I need to get this out there. On their show last week, they made some pretty slanderous accusations towards me. They claimed that I was sending fake messages, pretending that I was going to be the new co-host on their show. They read these messages, claimed they were fake, and said some pretty rude things. They were saying that I was no longer a living entity on this planet anymore, that I was dead to them, that I didn't exist, and that Cliff, you do a one-man show now.
Yeah, I mean, even when I'm on here with you, it's almost like you're invisible, so I kind of get what they're saying.
Okay. All right, you can suck a dick. On their show, they said some things. Bats called me a liar. And that's hurtful. That hurts. And Matt, says I'm dead to them. Well, I'm going to go on record right now and say that those messages are real. I have the proof that those messages are real.
I've seen them.
Matt was, I showed them to you. Matt did message me late in the evening on October 30th. And asked me to be the new co-host. He said that Bats was abusive and that Bats hit him and had been drinking a lot. I was ready to accept. I was ready to join their show. I'm a fan. I'm a friend of theirs, and I'm a fan of their show. And sure, I'll help my friend out and join a show. I can pull double duty and do 2 shows a week. That's fine. I can do that. But then they started saying these things about me that are just untrue. And Cliff, I know I showed you the messages, but did I play the voicemail for you?
No, there's a voicemail?
There's a voicemail.
Oh, wow.
There's a voicemail from Bats.
Really?
He called me. Yeah, he called me. And he was threatening me. He was threatening me. At least I think so. I mean, if you've ever listened to the gimmick table, you know that Bats usually sounds like he's drunk.
Do we need to put hands on somebody?
No. Let's, I appreciate that. Thank you. But, Bats, he usually sounds like he's drunk. He's usually mumbling, kind of an aggressive tone of voice. But, yeah, I'm just going to play it. Are you okay with me playing this, Cliff? Can I play it?
Yeah, man, go ahead. I mean, you got to clear your name, right?
I do. So I'm gonna try to get this phone up to the mic here. Hold on a minute. Hey, it's Bats, and Matt's always shit. I don't even want to about it. And he's not on the show, and it's I can't. So it's a gimmick table, and it's in the basement. You getting drunk. You get whatever. It's not even. Can't even. So he hits me. It's I don't know. Maybe I can't. I don't know. I don't hit him. I don't do it. But he's always whatever. So you leave him alone. You can't. Whatever. So there you go.
Wow.
I have that saved in 2 separate areas. I have it saved on my phone, and I have a backup on my computer.
Wow.
So if you continue to harass me, sir, I will turn these over to the authorities, and I am contemplating legal action for your slanderous accusations.
This, what? Wow. At first I thought it was just fun and games.
Yeah.
Now it's
gotten real.
It's getting serious.
It is.
Wow.
So that's as much as I feel like talking about that today. And
yeah, man, let's just move on, man. We got a show to do,
it's cease and desist, okay?
We got a show to do.
Okay.
Can you get it together?
I'm working on it. It's bullshit. It's
Come on, man.
My name
You're stronger than this, Rob. You're stronger than this.
All right.
All right.
Okay. I have a family. And
all right. Hey. We'll talk about it off air.
Okay.
All right.
I try. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're moving on to better news. We're going to jump right into a little bit of wrestling content here because some amazing developments happened, in my opinion, on Tuesday night. You know what I'm talking about, right, Cliff?
The best news ever.
You know why?
Because
we have a new champion.
Jay Styles. Jay Styles.
The phenomenal AJ Styles is your new WWE champion, defeating the modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal, y'all, lost that belt.
I can't believe they did that.
I am kind of shocked that they took the belt off of Jinder just because of how long he's had it. They have the India tour coming up. But, from what I have seen, it was a Vince McMahon call. Last moment
Vinny.
Change. Yeah. Taking AJ out of the Survivor Series match, giving him the title, and putting him against Brock Lesnar. Now, there's rumors. Even Jinder himself felt like he needed to discuss said rumors online, saying he isn't injured. and that he didn't fail a wellness test. To which I say, okay, bitch tits.
Right.
But you're getting Brock Lesnar against AJ Styles at Survivor Series, which is a much more compelling match than Brock Lesnar versus Jinder Mahal.
Yes, it is.
However, I certainly hope that this does not mean that it'll be a while before we hear that theme song.
No, we're still going to hear it.
Every damn time.
He'll get his rematch.
Every damn time that
Right.
song plays.
Turn
I'm
up.
not going to sing it, though. I'm not going to sing it. Because, you know, people, they listen to the show, they're waiting on it. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to run it into the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to take that joke and run it into the ground. That's just not what I want to do.
You?
It's not what we do here on this show.
You? Really?
No.
All right.
I mean, you know, we've stopped, you know, when we talk about Baron Corbin, we don't play the moist drop anymore. You know what I mean? Although it is still out there, we still get plenty of tweets when Baron Corbin comes out, #moist. But you know, that ship has sailed. The ship of the gender theme song has sailed.
You know, he's no longer the champion, so hey,
We need to retire it. We need to retire the joke.
it's done. Done, son.
Move on. We need to move on because now the champ comes out to a whole nother theme song
That's right.
because it's a whole nother man. You know what I'm saying? They don't want none.
none. They do not. If they had
don't.
some, they still wouldn't want it.
That's right.
That's right.
I mean, you know, gender's not a Mack truck. AJ is. So don't
Right.
get run over. Country boy working overtime. King of the South. He never had nothing. You know? Blue collar boys, they do it with their hands muddy. They don't want none.
They do not.
They do not. They do not want none. I feel like I should do my AJ Styles impression right now.
Go for it.
Should I?
Go for it.
I can't be put on the spot like that. I can't do that. Even though I kind of did it to myself. If you can't take a forearm to the side of your face and get out this business. AJ Styles. That's right. Georgia.
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 Oh, I probably
The
pissed some
champ
people
that
off
runs
there.
the camp.
That's right. Can't take a forearm to the side of your face and get out this business.
Oh, funny.
So yeah, I don't really have anywhere else to go other than the fact that that's awesome that AJ's still AJ's the champ now. Can I ask you one thing though?
Ask away.
Talking about the fact that they changed, they went from AJ or went from gender to AJ. There's talk that they did it because they could tell with ratings starting to decline and, you know, the gender experiment in many ways maybe didn't work as well as they had hoped. That Vince made the call and went with AJ because he felt that to have an AJ versus Brock advertised for a show that they're wanting to get, you know, network subscribers for, that would have been a better match and people would have cared more.
Yeah.
But and then they're saying that it's very possible that on the India tour or a little before it, that Jinder could regain the belt.
Which is something that I said a few episodes ago. that he would drop it. I don't remember who I said he would drop it to, but I did say it would be cool for him to win it back in India.
Now, if you're going that route, though, what does that say about Jinder as a champion? That you would take the belt off of him going into one of the big 4 pay-per-views just to give it back to him so you can pop a rating. Does that not tell you that maybe your experiment has failed and maybe you should just give up in general?
Well, technically, yes, but they're not going to give it up until they go to India. The whole point of this is literally to just have India on lock. So they've already established that, hey, we're willing to give, an Indian guy the championship for 6-7 months. Like, he's had one of the longest reigns of any champion in recent history. And it's just like, hey, once we get to India, he's still gonna be prominent, and he's still gonna be either defending the title or going after it. So, they're still gonna have that card to play up until the India tour is over. And after that, they can do whatever they want with him.
No, I agree with that. You've already made Jinder. He will always be now near the top.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that some people do not want him to be. Man, when I tweeted out something about, being happy that AJ won, woo, some people were fired up.
Man, people all over the globe was fired up.
There is some people who are just will fight you over Jinder Mahal and how much they love Jinder, and it is not a failed experiment. And so what if he's taking steroids? Look, I don't give a shit if he's taking steroids.
Oh, I did see that guy.
The guy who I was going back and forth with?
Oh, man, I was just laughing.
I'm like, dude, I don't care if he takes, whatever.
It is I'm using all 280 characters.
Yeah, dude was just going nuts, and I'm like, son, let's settle down.
I did kind of agree with him though a little bit.
No, I even kind of alluded to that. Yes, you have a point. I understand that it doesn't matter. You don't just inject steroids and become huge.
Right.
Look no further than half the guys in the 80s, like Hulk Hogan, anyone? He looked that way because he was on steroids, but he wasn't, working out as hard as Jinder was.
Right.
He just looked puffy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Same thing with Stallone in the Rambo movies. The early ones, he looked puffy, but then it's you get him into First Blood where he's all cut up. That's a different story.
Right.
Dudes in Hollywood do it all the time. You really think that fucking why am I drawing a blank on his name all of a sudden? Bane.
Oh,
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Yeah, you can think of anybody that's doing superhero movies lately, and not to not to put it out there and say that these guys are roided up, but they're doing something.
You're not going from a normal sized guy to cut the fuck up in 3 months.
Right.
I don't care what workout regimen you're on.
Right.
You're getting a little help. But that's the thing. Wrestling is a cosmetic business. Taking steroids doesn't just give you an edge over somebody like it does in, say, a basketball or a baseball or something like that.
Right.
Where you're getting more of a competitive edge. You're getting more of a physical edge.
Yeah, I was going to say that's one of the reasons or one of the things I never really understood about the WWE at this point. I get it. I understand that, they want it to be treated as a sport or sports entertainment. But at the end of the day, it's still just scripted television. So I don't understand why their talent has to get tested for things, because they're not you're not getting an advantage because they write out who's winning and who's losing. It's not like,
right.
If I do steroids and get extra strong and hit 70 home runs, Like that's an advantage, you know? But no matter how many steroids I take, if Vince McMahon doesn't say, "Hey, I'm going to give you the belt," then it doesn't matter. Like you can be the
Right,
best
right.
looking guy in the world, aka
Well,
Chris Masters, and
yeah.
you won't sniff the main event.
You mean the incredible shrinking Chris Masters?
Exactly.
The
So
guy who looked one way, and then when the wellness policy went into effect, he looked like
a complete,
Chris Masters' little
it
brother.
ruined his career.
Yeah. But the wellness policy was put in effect not just to prevent steroid usage. The steroid usage was put in. The testing for steroids was put in place also because excessive steroid use is bad for you. You know what I
True.
mean? It does cause
True.
health issues. It killed Eddie Guerrero. Granted, previous extracurricular activities also added to that, but he had an enlarged heart. If you look at Eddie in WCW and when he first came to WWE, and you look at Eddie when he passed away,
Yeah.
he's huge. Look at Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero are naturally smaller guys. I don't think either one of them was 6 feet tall.
Right.
And they were just naturally built to where they probably would have been no bigger than like 220. But when they passed, they were what, 240, 260, and they were just solid, jacked muscle.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why it was put in place. But not all their talents get tested, sir. If you are a part-timer, Brock Lesnar, Vince McMahon, Triple H,
Yeah.
they flat out put out there, we don't test for that. So when Brock failed his steroid test for his fight, everybody was like, well, wait a minute. He's in WWE. They test for this. No. Part-timers don't get tested.
Right.
You know, if you remember the way Brock looked when he first showed up back in WWE, he still was a big guy, but he wasn't cut the fuck up. Go back and look at that video. Look it up online. When he came out and he F5'd John Cena.
Yeah.
He had that baggy shirt on.
Uh-huh.
His arms did not quite look all that big. He looked just kind of like a naturally big guy.
Yeah. But he also had just
And
got
then-
back,
From training in UFC, I know.
Yeah. No, that was after the diverticulitis, wasn't it?
True.
Yeah.
But what
But
my
still,
point is
yeah.
that if you looked at him a month or two later, he was back to looking like Brock Smash.
Yeah.
And that's just not hitting the gym hard. You know what I mean? Look at pictures of Jinder Mahal when he was in 3-man band, and look at pictures of Jinder Mahal now.
Dude, that's all diet and exercise, man.
That's right. Diet and exercise gives you body acne like that.
Right. That's the one thing. It's just like, okay, I get it. Okay, yeah, you put on some muscle and, all that. But like the body acne and the bitch tits is just like, wait a minute. Why are your nipples so engorged? Like, I don't know anybody.
He's having a baby. Leave him alone.
Like, is something building some estrogen inside of you somewhere? But hey, whatever. This isn't I'm not one to judge.
Yeah, we went off on a tangent there.
Yeah, it was a little crazy. I'm trying to find
Sorry.
somebody to cycle me on and off anyway. So
That's what I'm saying.
I'll let you, man.
Yeah, help me out. I don't need to worry about it affecting the size of my penis. So
Yeah,
help me out.
I could use a couple inches. And
He's got a few to spare.
I got a few to let go.
He's getting older. He doesn't need all those inches.
Yeah, she's had her fill.
What else happened this week in wrestling?
I was saying earlier, speaking of championships changing.
Championships changing.
Yeah. The Raw Tag Team Champions.
Correct. The Raw Tag Team Champions. They lost the belt to the Bar.
and new.
Yeah. New Day caused the distraction that caused. By the way, that referee, the dumbest referee on the planet. They're getting ready to go to the finish. New Day interrupts, and for like a good solid almost 5 minutes, he's just watching everybody talk instead of calling the bell.
Right.
Bro kick, your winners, the bar. Come on.
Yeah. You know what I was really surprised at? That they did these changes on a taped UK show.
Well, it's only tape delay.
Well, it's still delayed. Like, you know, it's delayed a couple hours. It's still like, you know, oh, wow. You know, it's not a shock. None of it was, you know, to the American fans, or at least the only ones that were shocked are the ones that aren't on Twitter, which is still a lot, but, you know, most of the fans had already knew what was happening.
Which, by the way, to all the people on Twitter that were getting bent out of shape about spoilers getting out for Raw and SmackDown because it was in the UK, shut the fuck up.
Well, first of all, the WWE spoiled it.
Right.
Everybody who has a WWE app got that alert. And that was hours before the show had aired. It was on the app, it was on their Twitter feed. They had a YouTube thing on, like everything was already spoiled. So if we're retweeting or you know, citing a retweeting a site, or, you know, sharing an article, like, that's just, it's news now.
I don't know. My thing is the people that get all bent out of shape about it. Okay, well, what about the fans in other areas of the world that don't get to watch it live?
Right.
Like the people in the UK, like our buddies in Australia, the broadcast. They don't get to watch it live.
Right, ever.
You know, well, maybe broadcast does because they're like 13 hours ahead of us or something like that. But, you know, it's in the morning for them. But still, most other areas of the country do not get to watch it live. UK is, what, 5 hours ahead of us? So
like
when Raw comes on at 8, it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m. over there. You know, so for once they got a live show. And if they were excited to talk about it and people were blowing them up on Twitter, dude, stay the fuck off Twitter.
Right.
You know, I am far behind on a lot of TV shows. If it's 3 months later and I still haven't seen the finale of fucking, you know, I don't know. Okay, Stranger Things 2nd season. I haven't watched it yet. I need to.
It was incredible.
Okay. Granted, it's only been out about, what, 2 weeks now?
Yep.
But if I haven't watched it and a month has gone by and somebody says something, I'm not going to rip them a new ass and go, oh, you should have warned me that you were going to. No, fuck you. It's been out a month. Like,
well, what about the assholes like myself who spoil it the day of?
Well, you're just an asshole. But that's where you need to avoid social media.
Like, look, you knew it was on today.
Right.
You knew half the world was gonna binge it in the next. It came out on a Tuesday, so you got until at least till Friday. If you ain't watched it by then, look. If you ain't watched it by the weekend, I'm definitely
stay off
doing
Twitter.
shit. And then you just gotta avoid it. You do know that, like, you can just stop reading things.
Yeah.
Like, if it gets into any spoiler territory, just scroll down. Not that hard. Stranger Things was awesome, by the way. I heard a lot of people kind of hating on it because it did kind of shy away from the first season. I mean, it was still really good, and I still felt like it paid homage to a lot of, a lot of different films and, 80s nostalgia stuff that we all kind of grown to love at this point. But I thought it was a really good follow-up season. And I'm really, 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 really excited to see what the next season is going to do.
Well, in talking about it being in the UK and I thought the crowd was hot. A lot of people were acting like they weren't. Maybe they weren't so much on Raw, but SmackDown, that crowd was hot. The chants, the way they reacted to things when AJ won, they lost their shit.
Yeah.
UK fans in general, for most of the shows, are awesome. Hell, they still fucking cheer for Bailey. When's the last time you heard that fucking hey Bailey? They even did it to Becky on Tuesday night. Our friend Chelsea, I shout out, requests for mailbag questions. Chelsea Carla X on Twitter. She brought this up, and Leo from the S Marks the Spot podcast kind of had a similar question, so we might as well just answer it now. With the way the crowd was reacting, is it about time that the UK gets their own pay-per-view?
I wouldn't say pay-per-view only because of the time difference. Because I wouldn't want a WWE pay-per-view spoiled.
Well, years ago, before there was the network, they had the SummerSlam in the UK where Bulldog beat Brett, and that just aired, midday or late in the evening or something like that, and then it aired at a different time, the next day followed up. Personally,
yeah, but that was
I think they
before
should get
that
a
was
pay-per-view.
before the internet and Twitter.
True.
I'm pretty sure if they have a pay-per-view in Manchester, the same people who were there that we know that were there live tweeting like Chelsea is definitely going to spoil it. So for that, like I would love for them to have one if we could figure out a way to, have the time difference, or even if it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a Big Four pay-per-view or something like that. It could even be like a roadblock or something, where I think that they showed that live and it came on at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever. No, it was the Japan special that they had. It came on like hella early. Like I would be cool for something like that.
Or like the UK special.
Yeah.
That was taped.
That was taped.
So I'm going to say they showed it midday.
Yeah.
But that was taped. I don't know. I think they should get a pay-per-view. I personally, it wouldn't bother me if it was a Big Four pay-per-view at all. I don't
So if it was
care.
WrestleMania, you'd be okay with that?
If it was WrestleMania, I'd fucking go. Be an excuse to go to the UK and, see the things I've been wanting to see forever, and then I can go watch WrestleMania with a fucking hot-ass crowd like that. Hell yeah, I'd go.
Yeah, I mean, you put it that way.
That
would be kind of cool.
So yeah, maybe that's why I don't care, but I know that there are others that are probably listening right now that are screaming at their phone or whatever they're listening to it on and saying, fuck you, Rob, in the face, because I don't want to watch WrestleMania on tape delay.
Right. Well, get a ticket, cocksucker.
Yeah. But Leo had a similar question where he was saying, do you think they should do more European tours and shows? But I do. I think they should. I think they should have TV in the UK or, things like that more. Hell,
I honestly
when they did
think
Raw
they should do more Raw and SmackDown in other places.
Remember when they did it in Italy and Santino debuted?
Yeah.
You know, when's the last time they did something like that? They did Raw in Japan.
Yeah, they should do it more. I think they should do more, you know, when they send people on the global tours anyway, so it's like, why not do another, you know, like they were just in where they were in South America,
Right.
you know? They could have done a South America.
Because here's the thing, the ratings show you the same crowd that tunes in every week still tuned in, even though it was a tape delayed show.
True. That's true.
So, yeah, you can complain all you want about spoilers, but people still watched.
Yeah. And it even held its own, you know, even against the Ric Flair documentary, which, have you watched that yet?
I did.
Oh my God.
That was great.
Great. It really just
And
goes to show you, man, like not just Ric Flair, but like just people who are really, really like known for their craft, and people who are like whoever you would consider like one of the greatest at insert this thing here, you gotta kind of be a fucking asshole. And it's like for me as a fan, it's like, oh man, that's great. Like Ric Flair is greatest of all time. Look at all the stuff he did in the wrestling ring. Look at all the stuff he did for wrestling. And then you watch this documentary and you're like, geez, you're kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And you can say the same thing for people like Steve Jobs. And, you know, it's just like, holy shit, like how much you have to sacrifice to be the best at something. And so it's just like it's sad and inspiring and like everything in between. But just watching that documentary, man, it was just like, oh, wow. It puts you in a different mindset because I'm thinking like, man, I want to do everything I can to be the best, you know? But I'm like, I couldn't leave Kevin for a year.
Yeah. See,
You
that's
know?
the thing. You know, I mean, I get bummed out when my kid spends the night at the in-laws.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like at first I'm excited because like, oh yeah, we get a night without the kid. Like, you know, Steph and I can go do whatever, and we do. And then, you know, I'm getting ready to go to bed, and usually I'm like, you know, even if she's sleeping, I'll go in her room and give her a little kiss on the head or something like that, you know, just kind of see her there. And I'm like, oh, she's not here. And I get that little, oh.
Right.
So to be away from your kids for weeks, months on end, you know, it hurts, you know, and I'm sure, obviously, you know, they kind of alluded to that. There was a lot of pain from that.
For sure.
And maybe that's why he was always naching, you know, why he's always drinking and doing whatever, because being around people made him not feel alone.
Yeah.
But still, you don't have to do that either. You can make a choice.
Right.
But sometimes when you are that person, you know, you kind of have a different mindset. It's maybe easier to not make that choice and go with the, well, I need to be Ric Flair. As they said,
Mm-hmm.
Richard Flair,
yeah. Who's that?
doesn't even exist anymore. You know, he enjoyed being Ric Flair too much to where he doesn't even know who Richard Flair is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, it was great. I highly recommend it. If you have not seen it yet, if you are listening, watch the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary on Ric Flair. Is really good. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to appreciate it.
No,
It
you
was
really don't.
good.
You really don't.
You know, we kind of jumped past Survivor Series, but I wanted to go back to it because we did get one of our listeners, the awesome man from the UK. We even almost made him our Man Crush Monday because he did something amazing when he heard the plug for us on Something to Wrestle. He went and he listened to every single episode of ours. All 20, I think it was 26 at the time. He went through and he listened to them all, you know, in order, and caught up with the show. And now he is listening live with everybody else. So hello, Matthew Skeets out there in the UK.
What up, Doe?
He sent a DM about Survivor Series. He was listening to our show last week, and we talked about how there's no reason to give a shit about Raw versus SmackDown because
Not
it's
at
still
all.
the same fucking thing. There's no difference between the two. He had an idea that when I read it, I was like, that's fucking genius. So I wanted to share it on the show so we could talk about it. He said, great show again this week as always. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
You've got me thinking on ways of improving the 5-on-5 match at Survivor Series. Here's what I've got. The winning team gets to draft one person from the losing team. So right off the bat, you got a little stakes here, but here's the one that he said that I thought was genius. The winning team gets the last 5 entry spots in the Royal Rumble.
Ooh. That'd be dope.
So right off the bat, you have a reason to give a shit because everybody loves the Rumble.
Right.
Everybody. If you are a WWE fan, the Royal Rumble is almost as big as WrestleMania. Okay? If you have them fighting for who's going to earn those last 5 spots, right away it gives you a reason to care. Now, they tried. They put the whole, if Team Raw loses, Kurt Angle gets fired. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
but
that
that's
makes you give a shit about Raw.
Yeah, that's
but
a
it also maybe
stipulation
makes
for
you
Raw.
go, it also maybe makes you go, oh, well, then that means that Raw's not going to win. Or the opposite. Oh, that means Raw's going to win, you know?
Yeah.
Just to continue the story. But this
I personally
made a
hope
lot of sense to me.
that Raw does lose and that Kurt Angle does get fired, and then he goes to SmackDown as a performer. Continue.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But no, I really like this idea because then that gives you each year a reason to give a shit about Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series. You know that whatever team wins, those 5 people are going to get the final 5 spots. Or even if you want to switch it up because there's going to be eliminations during the match, maybe the final 5 people in the match get a spot, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, but the winning team gets the final, 1 or 2 or whatever, whoever gets the pinfall or something like that.
Yeah. I would say even if it was the sole survivors.
Yeah. Get the final however many spots in the Rumble. And if it is 5, if you do go with the whole team, if you do go with however many people, then you play that up. You can promote that for a few weeks leading to whatever SmackDown or Raw it is, where there's going to be a triple threat or a fatal 4-way or a 5-way, match where whoever wins that gets the number 30.
Right.
You can set that up for Roadblock, End of the Line, or Fast Lane, or something like that, leading into it. Oh no, those are the ones going into Mania,
WrestleMania. Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thought that Matt had a great idea there because that really would kind of make you, oh, okay, well, this kind of matters now.
Yeah. Because now it's just like literally the day after Survivor Series. On Raw the next night, it's going to be like, hey, yeah, we either won or we lost. And it's just like, and now what? Who cares? All right, well, we got to get somebody in line for a title shot now. Like, that's the only thing that you can talk about after that. Like, it doesn't even matter who wins after that. So it's almost like pointless. But hey, that is a great idea. I think it'd be really awesome. And I'm pretty sure we could continue on with stipulations that would make it, work. But, they don't listen to us.
They don't.
Except they do.
Yeah. We have suspicions.
Hey.
Too many things that we've said on this show have come to pass.
It does it every week. Every week, man.
So do we want to talk about what's going on with Kevin Owens and Sammy? Do we want to touch on that real quick?
I mean, we can, but I don't know what the hell's going on.
I don't think anybody does.
I've read, I've read PWI shit, and it says they quote unquote went into business for themselves, and I'm like, I watched SmackDown, and I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
For those that don't know, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were sent home from the European tour for disciplinary reasons. As Cliff just alluded to, there's talk that they went into business for themselves on SmackDown on Tuesday, that when Sammy lost to Kofi Kingston, Kevin Owens was supposed to run into the match, which he did, and attack Kofi, but then the rest of the New Day were supposed to basically beat up Sammy and KO and run them off. But that didn't happen. When KO ran in, he attacked Kofi, Sammy rolled out of the ring, Kevin Owens rolled out of the ring, Big E and Xavier got in the ring, and everything looked really awkward. And then they just kind of backed away and were shouting at each other as the show went off the air. Apparently there's also rumors that they've been a little difficult to work with backstage lately, and Kevin Owens, quote unquote, the last straw was Kevin Owens complaining loudly on one of the buses during the tour about something. Shit like that, though, that comes out, you don't really know, obviously, whether it's true or not.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it could honestly be like it could. I think it's weird, man, because like, remember all the shit we were reading about Enzo that they pushed, and it was technically a shoot, and then they pushed it into a work, and then they gave him the fucking belt and all of this TV time. And it's just like, are they doing this shit because of they're trying to get momentum for the Sammy KO storyline? Because right now it's kind of like, it's just kind of moving along since Shane McMahon is in the, he's dealing with the Survivor Series shit. And it's almost like, well, what are you going to do with Sammy and KO for right now? Because they're not going to be in the Survivor Series team. They don't have a match at Survivor Series. So what do you do with them for the next, 4 or 5 weeks? Or really, wait. That's what, next? Is it next week?
Survivor Series
next week now? Yeah, yep. So, next 2 weeks, what are you going to do with them? So, I don't know. It's one of those things where you're like, are they working us? We don't know. We just know what they say. Well, there's also
people saying that they've been unhappy ever since Neville left, and they just fired Jimmy Jacobs, so those are two very close friends of theirs. I don't know if I believe all of that, but I do know, I had heard something that Meltzer was saying earlier about it, or yesterday about it, or whatever. That there's talk that, nobody knows when they're coming back. Nobody knows if they're going to be back for Survivor Series. Nobody knows if they're going to be back a couple of weeks from now. Nobody knows if they're just not going to be brought back at all, which I think is bullshit.
But, a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. But, it is kind of not a normal thing when guys just get sent home for reasons like that. Usually when guys get sent home from tours, they're up to some shit. Not just because they piss people off.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Like, we said, nobody really knows a whole lot about what's going on, so.
Yeah, will.
Meh.
Keep it pushing.
So, do we want to do a few mailbag questions?
Yeah, why not? I mean, last week we got 8 million of them, and we spent about fucking 90% of the show answering questions.
Over an hour on the mailbag last week.
Jeez.
So
I'm telling
we have
you,
some.
if we go long on this shit today, I'm literally just gonna unplug my mic and you can answer this shit by yourself.
Okay. Well, I like hearing myself talk.
I know you do. And
let's
not
get through
not
some
to
of these.
say that I don't appreciate the questions, because I do. But we're going to have to split that shit up over the course of a couple of shows if that's the case.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll say
I
that
didn't
right now.
expect for us. I think it was, this is what I really feel. I feel
Go
like
ahead, tell us.
we
tell us what
didn't
you feel.
expect to get that many questions. And once we did, we felt like we owed it to our fans to make sure we answered every one of them. And that's a good thing. However, you can't please all the people all the time. So, going forward, we will have a limit, goddammit.
We will, huh?
But keep the questions coming and we'll pick the best ones. And I'm not answering any more questions about the fucking wretched wrestling fucks.
Fuck those guys. Which they threw questions at us, and I did respond to Fred at least, because he threw out some sort of gibberish that I don't even think that's in the English language. What he threw out there, to where his buddy Craig even kind of was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Fred?" But let's see here. We gotta. Okay, all right. Speaking of those guys, Craig had a question, and Craig rarely speaks. Craig never talks ever. So I'll at least answer this young lad's question. I'm sure he had to get on a step stool to type on his phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Burn.
Craig, when I sent out the request for questions, I put, that GIF out there, or GIF, or whatever the fuck it is.
Did you just say GIF?
GIF.
Are you one of those people?
Of Alexa Bliss from No Mercy. Remember that No Mercy commercial?
Yes, bitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she ends it looking in the camera. Any questions? Right? Craig's question: have you seen the No Mercy commercial where that GIF?
Say it again.
Have you seen the No Mercy commercial where that GIF originated from? If not, watch ASAP and please react accordingly. Okay, Craig, I'll watch it. I believe in that commercial. It was a bunch of Alexas wearing masks and they were doing a cheerleader chant. Show no mercy. Show, oh, no mercy. Okay, so I'll show no mercy. Just not today. I'll tell everybody that's listening to go back and listen to a few episodes ago where I ripped you a new ass with the King question. How about that? Jerry Lawler says, hi, Craig.
How about them pancakes?
Yeah, good match, King. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. Our guys at the Home Video Hustle. How would a hardcore match go between you and Wretched Wrestling? Oh, Brent. The match wouldn't go long. It wouldn't go long at all. I know Craig and Fred did a little backyard wrestling back in the day, but I ain't into that backyard wrestling shit. I'll just fucking beat your ass. How about that?
Punch you in the mouth.
Yeah. Gimmick table. Why won't you love us? Well, why won't you prove that I exist? How about that? This is not a one-man show. And stop slandering my good name. We talked about it. I'm not talking about it anymore. We're moving on.
Hey. No.
Moving on. RJ asks, describe the Wretched Wrestling Boys in one word.
No.
There you go. There's your description. No. Moving on. Okay, we got a couple first-time questions here.
Hey.
our buddies over at the Cult 45 podcast, fellow castaway. If you are interested, please give them a listen. Cult 45 podcast, and that is cult, not cult. Okay? Cult 45.
You want me to give me
they
my
are
Billy D. Williams impersonation?
Go for it. I want to hear it.
Now, when I'm feeling blue and I need to hear my podcast, I like to hear Cult 45.
What's it? Smooth, easy listening. Cult 45. Their question. Please follow them on Twitter at Cult45, and that is the number 45 podcast on Twitter, and give their show a listen. I love their show. I listen to it weekly. Them, Home Video Hustle, great movie review shows, but they focus more on like the cult type movies, you know. Cult 45 asked, I stopped following wrestling since the early 2000s. What reason should I come back to watching it, and who should I follow?
Ooh. Well, if you're gonna come back to wrestling, there's this really cool wrestler. He's a champion right now. His name is Enzo Amore.
Oh, you motherfucker.
And you can follow him at Real1. That's the number 1. Because he's the hashtag realest champ in the room. And he will get you back to wrestling. Definitely.
I'm going to say, if you are going to come back to wrestling, stay away from Enzo Amore. Or you could watch this past Monday where Enzo Amore got that ass whoop by my boy Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, to be honest with you, the only reason you should probably, if you want to get an introduction back to wrestling, watching NXT first.
There you go.
That's my real answer. NXT is definitely, it kind of cuts out all the fluff. You don't have 3 hours of, commercials and bullshit, shitty segments and skits that you got to get through. It's just, it's straight to the point storylines. You got that title. I want it. Let's put on a good fucking match and entertain the people.
And their pay-per-views, the takeover events, blow the main roster events out of the water, because that's what NXT is. They are a minor league for WWE. The people that they have signed under developmental deals that they're trying to build into main roster talent, they start out in NXT. So the characters that start out there eventually will migrate up to the main roster, but they're working harder on the show. It's kind of like if you're a fan of football, you got college football, you got pro football.
Yeah.
Most people are more drawn to the college because they play harder and, shit like that. Whereas the pros, you're going to love the pros, but it's a little watered down and a little corporate,
Mm-hmm.
NXT has a different feel. I would agree with Cliff and say give that a watch, or find some of the other independent promotions out there. Look for Ring of Honor. Look for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla out of California. Look at New Japan. Those are awesome shows to watch. If you're a fan of wrestling and maybe you liked the storyline aspect of things, okay, well then stick with your WWE, look at NXT. But if you just like to watch people get in the ring and do some shit, maybe look outside of it. Hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on to damn it, Twitter. You fucker.
Hey, are you gonna make that tag team work today?
Let me get to the next question.
You fucker. Thought I forgot, huh?
We're gonna move on to the next question.
Wow.
Daily DDT at Fansided DDT asks, Who should interfere in the men's Survivor Series 5-on-5 match?
Who should interfere? Huh. Daniel Bryan.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, I think Daniel Bryan should interfere. And I don't know if did he pick Kane to be on the team yet? Did Kurt Angle pick Kane?
I think so. I think Braun and Kane are on the team.
Because it was who was fighting? It was Kurt Angle. Then it was Braun Strowman. And it's
Miz
Jason Jordan.
and Jason Jordan. There's your 5.
No, who's and Kane?
Kane.
Are you sure that's the team?
Yeah,
All right. I'll allow it. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Daniel Bryan.
You know what? I'm not even going to pick a different name. I agree 100%. Daniel Bryan, I know Shane said that he was going to show up on SmackDown this Tuesday. If I was WWE, I would not. I would hold him off. And then fucking, Raw is taking it to SmackDown. Ref bump. Flight of the Valkyrie starts playing. And here comes Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
Have him throw some kicks on Miz. Get revenge on Kane for choke slamming him, and then roll out of the ring, and SmackDown gets the win. And Kurt Angle gets fired on Monday, which leads to him returning to the ring.
And then we'll get Daniel Bryan versus Kurt Angle at the Royal Rumble.
Wow.
Yes.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yes.
But it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no. It's fucking sad.
All right. Question from The Curse Podcast. At The Curse Podcast on Twitter asks, with Roman Reigns coming back on Monday, does this set up New Day versus The Shield at Survivor Series, and does it have a gimmick?
Ooh,
yes.
I definitely think it'll be The Shield versus New Day. I don't think it necessarily needs a gimmick, though.
No, I just think you let him go in there and fucking tear it up.
Yeah, just have a good match. I don't think there's enough build up for a gimmick yet. I would say, there aren't any gimmick matches on Survivor Series yet, so maybe they'd want to throw one in there just for shits and giggles. But there hasn't been anything that would allude to, a reason for it. Like, you don't know if, you don't want it to be it's not a chairs match. Nobody's been hit with a chair. Nobody's been put through a table. They don't need a steel cage to confine them. So it's story-wise, it wouldn't make sense unless something happens on Raw or SmackDown next week that would make it make sense. But as of right now, I just think a good old-fashioned, 3-on-3, I think that would work.
And if you do not want to do Shield versus New Day, then you have a storyline where you could just say Kurt decides that now that Roman is back at 100%, I want him on Team Raw. And then you have him tell Jason Jordan, I'm removing you from the team and I'm putting Roman Reigns on there. And maybe that even sets up the Jason Jordan heel turn against Kurt Angle, who gets fired, comes back as a wrestler. I don't know. I would much rather see Shield versus New Day.
I'm kind of waiting for this whole Jason Jordan heel turn. Whether or not it's him turning heel on Kurt or him and Kurt turning together. Something. I'm just waiting for something to drop here. Like, I don't know what it is, but this fucking Jason Jordan storyline has to pay off at some point. Because right now it's just he's Kurt Angle's son.
Ass cheeks.
Yeah, it's just, yes. # ass cheeks.
There you go.
And the fact that Booker T is supposed to be like the face commentator, but he still hates Jason Jordan. It's I don't know. It's
Because he
something
knows.
something about it. I don't know.
Because he knows.
Yeah.
We'd be letting you know.
Mm-hmm.
Where
What evil lurks.
Former WCW of ours, Amanda.
Hey.
Hey. At KFabulous on Twitter. What title would you love to see brought back?
Ooh. I'm gonna go go ahead. I'll think about it.
I'm gonna say the hardcore title.
Really? In this day and age?
Yeah. You don't have to hit each other over the head.
Yeah, but like what's the point of having the hardcore title if I'm not gonna hit you over the head with something?
Okay, all right. Then I'll take that back and I'll say okay, I got an idea. I want to see the World Heavyweight title brought back and retire the fucking Universal title because that red piece of shit pisses me off every time I see it.
Oh, man. Speaking of titles, I'm going to answer that question, but I know you saw that the guy that did the custom AJ Styles belt.
Yeah, the blue one with the black. Yeah, that was kind of dope.
I think that looks fucking amazing. And I was like, I went to his page and I'm like, why don't you have any followers? Like, this shit is fucking great. It's like he just got on Twitter. And I'm just like, dude, you should have 1 million followers.
Okay. So, can you go ahead and answer your question because I'm ready to move on to this next one because I think you will enjoy this.
Uh-oh. All right. The belt I think that they should bring back, I'm going to go with I wouldn't say it's there, but it's, they have the UK championship, but I really loved the European title.
D'Lo Brown.
Yeah, because every time, like it was like a title that, they created it for, who was it, for Bulldog? Who was the first European champion? Was it Bulldog? Yeah. So, but I thought it was one of those belts where you were like, it was cool to have another belt that was, kind of on the level of the IC that you could give to like your workhorse guy that, you weren't going to give the title to, you weren't going to give him the world title. And there was too many guys that were deserving of the IC strap, but you give that workhorse guy the Euro strap. And I think that would be a good that'd be a good title to have, even if they brought it to like NXT. If NXT has a secondary title, I think their roster is starting to get big enough that they could have one more championship on that show. Continue.
Okay, so we're not going to answer this question because it's from that fucking asshole Fred Robinson from the Wretched Wrestling Whoa.
I sneezed.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Sound like you blew out your asshole with that sneeze. Damn. All right, let's go. Fred sent a question, and it's a dumb question. If you could date one of the PWO members, who would it be and why? Not answering that shit, Fred. Okay? No. I know you want me to answer you so that you can tug one out later. But I'm not answering that. What I am going to point out is that there was a like on that question. And it was liked by somebody who does not follow us. And apparently does not follow Wretched either. Monty Kumar. At Monty Kumar 1983, he liked that question. Monty's Twitter page describes him as, I am a young boy, animal lover, and explorer, the expert. Use the hashtag Monty Kumar. And he responded with, I just love you, beautiful.
Wow.
So I'm going to respond to Monty right now.
Wow.
Monty, let me see.
I was
here.
going to have a really, really kind of a terrible segue a second ago.
I'm going to quote this. Thanks, Monty. I think you're super cool too.
Wow.
All right, Monty.
Hey.
Wow,
what's up, buddy? How are you?
Pinned tweet. That pinned tweet says, "Hello, this is my new home, and I am ready." All right, Monty.
Okay, buddy. We're ready too.
Buddy.
Ready for the world.
Oh, and he's following our buddy Shayla.
Hey. Our very first WCW.
Oh, wait a minute. He's being an asshole to Shayla.
Uh-oh.
Who would love to see at Likeable Miss Hyde wrestle at Wrestle Circus? He said no match at all whatsoever.
Oh, yeah. Well, fuck that guy. We take it all back. See, Rob, you got to do your research, man, before you start shouting out people.
All right. So, fuck you, Monty.
Lesson learned.
Maybe need to respond to him right now. Fuck you, Monty. It's over.
Wow. Grand opening, grand closing.
Don't love you anymore, Monty. You can go to hell, Monty.
All right. That's enough.
All right.
Pitbull.
I think we're...
Are we done with mailbag questions?
I think we are.
Because I was going to say, and this is not funny, but it was funny in my brain when I thought of the segue. Because you just said it. And I was going to say, speaking of tugging one out.
Oh, my God.
Did you hear the fucking news about one of my favorite comedians today?
Louis C.K.
What the fuck is happening with all my heroes?
Look, okay. I mean, you work in the film and television industry, so you are around people. Do you ever see any of this shit?
I
mean, you always hear about it.
I've heard a bunch of crazy fucking stories, none of which I am privy to talk about on the air. I have seen, well, I would say this. There is no HR department in Hollywood.
On a film set.
Yeah. And I've seen, at rap parties and shit, I've seen some shit go down at rap parties, and I've heard some things, and I've heard, some people say some things to people that I'm like, whoa, I don't think you were supposed to say that to that person, but hey, we're all drunk and, shit's happening. I get it.
I mean, you hear about fun shit. Like you were telling me how you were spinning in a DJ booth with smoking a joint.
I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm totally bleeping that.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Totally.
No, you're not. You put it out there.
With who?
Yeah, with who? Rocky Horror Picture Show, anyone? So you don't like me talking about this? No? You don't want me talking about? You're just going to be quiet so that you can cut all this out? We already got that little censor bleep sound effect. We use it all the time on you. Guess you could just bleep out the name.
Anyway, we're talking about nasty shit
Bull Durham
going on in the world here.
Yeah, no, not to joke around. This is fucked up. It's way past fucked up. Harvey Weinstein's a fucking pig-ass fucking rapist. Bill Cosby is like a serial fucking sick-ass rapist. You already heard shit about
Kevin Spacey?
Kevin Spacey.
What the fuck? Like, I'm, man. It's crazy.
Okay, my question is, and I'm going to relate it back to wrestling here because this, I think, is a good, example. Chris Benoit. Okay. One of the most amazing wrestlers in the history of the business is going to forever go down as an absolute evil human being. Okay? Murdered his wife, murdered his child, and then like a fucking coward took his own fucking life. You have people that want to argue, oh, well, you can look past that because all you got to do is look at his wrestling. No, I disagree with that 100%. I can't. If you're able to, fine. I'm not going to look down on you for it, but I disagree with you. Okay, OJ in the Hall of Fame. Yes, he was found innocent, but I think everybody knows there's no way he didn't kill his ex-wife and her friend, Ron Goldman. It's hard to go back and watch movies that he's in or watch old game tape and not think about it. How many movies now with Kevin Spacey? How many times are you going to see the Weinstein Company at the beginning of a movie and not think, wow, what a fucking animal?
Yep.
Dude, I wanted Bill Cosby to be my dad growing up because I lived for that show. And now it's like I can't even fucking think about it anymore without thinking, oh, yeah, this is the guy that doped up women and raped them.
Crazy fucking time, man.
And now you got, all this shit coming out. I read earlier that, was it Corey Feldman or somebody said that,
Charlie Sheen?
Charlie Sheen
sodomized him when he was...
sodomized Corey Haim when he was a kid.
Yeah.
On the set of Lucas.
Yeah, it's just like all this shit is coming out. And so the one thing that I am...
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep is saying, or said that Dustin Hoffman assaulted her. Or I thought, maybe there was something that came out recently to where her people were saying that it didn't quite go down like that. But I guess there was a story and he walked up to her and introduced himself and grabbed her breast. Which, have you ever fucking done that?
Let me think. No.
I mean, what an icebreaker. Just to walk into a room and go, hi, I'm Rob, and let me grab your tit. What's up?
Yeah,
I don't shake hands.
It's a weird, like, it's a weird thing. Like, I can't say that I understand. Like, okay, I get it. If you've been drunk and you've said some dumb shit before, like, okay, people get drunk and say dumb shit sometimes. But, like, to continue and to, like, press the issue of certain things is just like, oh, fuck, man. I don't, it's crazy. But and there's another side of me too that thinks like I'm happy for, these men and women that are coming forward with their stories. But I also think that it could be, there's going to be a lot of people taking advantage of this shit. And that's something that sucks in it as well, because it's like nowadays it's just going to be rampant. And anybody at this point can be like, oh, yeah, such and such did this to me. And immediately everybody's just going to fucking crucify him. So it's like it's difficult, man. It's difficult, especially being in this business, man, and knowing, how people are and how, like I said, this industry is one of the only industries where people just don't, you don't have a filter because you don't really have anybody to answer to. If you're the producer, you can pretty much say and do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Well, I mean, look at Weinstein.
Yeah. And especially
he
if you're the one
is
putting
one of the most
millions in
powerful
people's
men.
pockets.
Yeah. One of the most powerful men in Hollywood.
Yep.
And could easily take advantage of these people because you want a career?
Yep.
Let me whip my dick out. And he's a hideous looking man.
Disgusting looking man.
And you hear these awful, awful stories about like him, Rose McGowan claims that he raped her and, just awful things. And you also hear things that it's like, that shit grosses you out to the point like you feel like you need a bath when you hear some of these stories.
Yeah.
Making people watch him take a shower. Watch me while I masturbate. I don't even think he asked half the time. Just awful shit. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, it makes you, like I said, it makes you want to like no longer watch those movies. Like, you hear things like Matt Damon. People are now saying like, oh, did he know about it? And turn a blind eye.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue as well when it comes to handlers and assistants and all the people who are kind of involved. Like you got to have a ring. You can't just be a fucking pig your whole life and not have anybody that knows about this shit.
Right.
Like you can't, it's somebody fucking knows. It's somebody who either got your back, whether it's your lawyer or your assistant or your fucking PR guy or your agent or your manager. I mean, even the fucking agent from, is it CAA, I think? One of the agencies, I forgot which one it was. I just read the other day.
I think it's CAA.
Got, and he's got tons of clients.
And they're all now leaving.
Yeah. He reps two of the kids off of Stranger Things dropped him.
I think they already left. Like Finn, Finn Wolfhard, didn't he leave him?
So it's just like, I mean, this whole thing is just, it's just crazy, man. It's blowing up like you don't fucking know. And now you got, companies has to release all these statements and send out these press releases, and it's just like, this shit is crazy. I'm telling you.
It's like the Louis C.K. thing came out today.
Yeah.
He's got that movie that he's trying to promote that is supposed to come out. Now they're holding off on releasing it.
That shit is not about to get released.
Nope.
Nobody's going to go watch it. And the content of that movie is...
Yeah, I read what it's about.
Crazy
it's
anyway.
Kind of like
it's about Louis C.K. is a writer, and his daughter is 17, and she starts dating a 68-year-old
producer or something like that. Yeah, and he has to then decide whether or not he wants to step up as a father and say, no, this is not okay.
Yeah,
or be, well, you're going to help my career, so I guess I just got to kind of let you,
Yeah.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. Well, this topic is already. We could talk about this shit forever, and I'm trying to, I guess, kind of bite my tongue because I can talk to you about some other shit off air, but it's fucking wild, bro.
All right, let's turn this to some. Have you seen Thor yet?
I have seen Thor, and it was great. It was.
I have not seen.
What the fuck, Rob? Look, I know you got a job and a wife and a kid and shit, but you need to take some time for your geekdom, man.
I can't get my wife to go see any Marvel movies.
Well,
I haven't seen Spider-Man.
Go by yourself.
I haven't seen fucking. I haven't even seen Rogue One yet.
What? You know what? I can't with you. Take 2 hours out of your day and be like, hey, babe, I'm going to run to Ed's for a minute.
No, I mean, if I flat out told her I'm going to go see a movie, I don't think she'd give a shit. I just don't want to be by myself at the movies.
Oh, you're so whack. I go to the movies by myself all the fucking time.
I've always been weird about that. Maybe because, you remember years ago when I was in charge of that movie theater, right?
Yeah.
And I would see the guys coming in by themselves. I would just be like, oh, that's sad.
Yeah, but that movie theater itself was sad.
Yeah.
Wasn't
sad after hours, though. Hey,
if you couldn't get somebody to come to the dollar show with you, I don't know what the hell's
saying
wrong with you.
that movie theater. I left things behind in the movie theater. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, tons of fun at that movie theater. I tell you what.
Late nights putting the movies together. We get the shipment of the new movies that would come out Friday. I'd have to put the reels together on Thursday. I'd be up there until 4 a.m. putting reels together. You know, you invite company. You want to watch a movie? You want to hang out? Hey, you see this room over here? And we just got done talking about creepy
creepy people in the movie business. It's you too. Jeez, Rob.
All right, I haven't seen Thor. Somebody. Changing subject. I haven't seen Thor. I need to go. I hear it's
go
awesome.
see Thor. It's really good. It's funny as shit. So if you see the first 2 Thors, of course, they're very, very serious.
Yeah.
And they have a few comedic elements. They had the one girl from, is it Two Broke Girls, I think. Like she kind of plays
Kat Dennings.
Yeah. She has the comedic, element. She adds a little bit of comedy to it. And a few things that Thor does is kind of funny just because it's like, oh, he's an outsider in a new world, blah, blah, blah. But with this, it's just like hilarious from beginning to end. Even when shit is like going crazy and you're like, whoa, it's basically genocide going on this fucking place. And it's still funny. It's just like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be laughing at this, but it's hilarious. So
I knew I was going to see it anyways because I do watch all of that shit. Maybe not when I should, but I do. But when I saw that Goldblum was in it.
Yeah, and he steals every fucking scene he's in. I think he just showed up to set and they were just like, hey, we're going to put this makeup on you. Just go out there and say whatever the hell you want to. And just go be Goldblum. And we're going to keep
That's all you need. He's like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it's great. He's great.
There's no need to play any other character. Just go out and say the lines like you would say them.
Yeah, it's funny.
When Nicolas Cage tries to do an accent, it's the worst thing.
You're like,
best thing ever.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Just stop.
An accent of any kind. British accent, Southern accent. I love Con Air because it is one of the corniest, shittiest, fucking amazing early 2000s action movies. And he had that awful Southern accent.
Oh my God, it was terrible. But that movie was the best.
Fucking love
all
Con
of those
Air.
movies from all of those like Con Air, The Rock, Broken Arrow, Face Off. Like,
oh my God, Face Off.
Loved him. Cast of Troy.
I remember I wanted to have 2 sons and I would name them Castor and Pollux.
That would have been awesome.
Castor Troy English, Pollux Troy English.
Instead, you had a little baby Goyle.
Yeah, she's gonna be the only one.
You got them valves snipped already, homie?
No, not yet. Not yet. I am considering it, but having anybody come near it with a sharp implement makes me nervous. Makes me very nervous. See, we always come back to talking about my dick.
Oh Lord. You can't just let it be.
Let it be. Let it be.
Well,
so I need to see Thor. I need to see Stranger Things.
Dude,
I just watched Get Out.
Oh yeah, you were sending me those fucking text messages, and I'm like, bro, if you don't just watch the movie, you sound worse than the ghetto dude in the back of the damn theater. Like, bro, if you ask me one more goddamn question. Oh my God, bro, what is I didn't even, oh my God, what is, dude,
you know why I was sending you those messages? Because I was watching it by myself. And I'm one of those people that, like, I have to watch a movie with somebody because I have to, like, comment throughout. You know what I mean? Like, I have to say something to the person near me, or I have to get validation in some way from them. And I had nobody there. Steph was sleeping, and I'm watching the movie. So I'm like, who's fucking seen Oh, Cliff's seen this movie. It was good.
It was. I'm glad you finally got to see it. That 1% of you really wanted to see it.
1% came out.
Right.
Said I need to be with my people and watch this movie.
That's right.
So yeah, kind of trailing off. Oh wait, we got a late mailbag question. Late one. It is from the What Were They Thinking podcast at WWTT podcast on Twitter. They are a movie podcast where they watch movies and, ask the question, what were they thinking? I'm a little angry at this gentleman right now, though, because I've been, conversing with him on Twitter for a while, and I just recently found out he's a independent wrestling manager. All this time, didn't tell me. I feel like I've been cheated on. Anyways, the question. How is Alexa Bliss so hot? How is that legal? You want to take that one, Cliff?
No. Due to the circumstances with my lawyer, I am not allowed to discuss the hotness of, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Her mom and her dad, they had sex. And then she was born.
Had relations.
And then she took on some of the traits of her mom and her dad, and somehow they mixed together to make this really hot chick. That's how that happened.
How did you describe her? You remember your description for Alexa Bliss?
When?
Was it comparison to a candy bar?
Wait, what?
Yeah, never mind. This is just going nowhere. Wow. What a way to end the show.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't honestly.
We don't need to. We'll talk. Apparently, there's things you want to talk to me about off air. You don't want to talk about on the show. You don't want to put business out there on the show. We could have, we're trying to get downloads, Cliff.
Right, exactly. So
we're trying to get downloads. You don't think that if you threw a story out there about celebrities that you know and that you've hung out with on set and the shit they do, that we wouldn't get downloads?
Look, I don't know who listens to this podcast, so I ain't about to jeopardize my fucking well-being for you fucks.
Yeah, but if we get downloads and we start making that sweet, sweet podcast money. You wouldn't even need your job.
Yeah, I'll just be the guy that got kicked out of fucking Hollywood. Yeah, let's do that. Maybe that'll get me some more Twitter followers.
Is there sweet podcast money out there?
Maybe.
Maybe. Not for us, apparently.
Nah, not yet. I'll go back to my cushy job.
If you out there want to help us get some of that sweet, sweet podcast money, follow the show on Twitter.
There you go. At WNA Podcast.
At WNA Podcast. Yeah, see, we said that in unison.
Mm-hmm.
Like twins.
Yeah, man. We've been doing this
You're
for
Danny
quite some
DeVito.
time. No.
If they want to follow you on Twitter, how do they do it?
Cliff does it all.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at that Rob guy. That's Rob with 2 B's because the extra B means badass.
Or bitch.
If you want to email the no, does not mean bitch. If you want to email the show, if you have any questions or topics you want us to talk about, please do so. WNApodcast@gmail.com or shoot me slide up in them DMs. You know what I'm saying?
Slide.
It gets lonely sometimes. If you could, please. We are really, really, really trying to get our reviews up on iTunes right now. We've stalled out. We got quite a few reviews in the beginning, and then nobody's reviewing us anymore. Please go to iTunes. Leave us a review on there. We would absolutely love you if you do so. You can find us on Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes, of course. I'm sure there's other outlets that I don't even know about. You can find us on YouTube. Subscribe on there. Wow, I've been doing this how many times now, and I'm already stalling out like I can't remember what to say.
Google WNA Podcast. Click all the links. The end.
The end. So do you have like anything you want to sign off with? Any special stories? Any special impressions? You got
my
an
only
impression?
story that I have is that there's this wrestler named Chris Jericho, and he's going to wrestle Kenny Omega.
Wrestle Kingdom 12.
That's
New
right, damn
Japan,
it.
January 4th. You're looking
And it's
forward to
gonna
that.
be so fucking awesome. I'm looking so forward to it. And we didn't discuss it, so I figured I needed to
We
drop
didn't.
it.
We don't need to.
Yeah.
Everybody that's a wrestling fan already knows it's happening.
Yeah.
Why do
You're
they care?
right.
Why do you care? I'm asking you. Why do you care? Why do you care?
Because I'm a wrestling fan.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm asking the listener. Listener, why do you care?
Because they're wrestling fans.
So I didn't do the make it work.
Yeah, I saw how you tried to drag this shit on so you didn't have to do it.
I have something.
We're starting
I
it
have
out.
Something.
Next episode, you are starting it with making it work. God damn it.
You don't want me to like throw a new poll up there so we can get
Nah. Nope.
something else? You really want
Nope.
me to start off with fucking Reverend Devon
Yep.
and Max Moon and making them a tag team?
Yep. That's
I
what's
have
happening.
something. I actually have something.
Sure you
but
do.
I just
Sure
no,
you
I do.
The clap
do.
doesn't count.
No, I 100% have something.
Yeah.
I just not confident with it.
No.
I already know which
Oh, there it
wrestlers are going
is.
to play the roles.
There it is. Anyway,
But you know,
you're making it work
we're
next
approaching.
week, damn it.
Yeah, we're approaching 2 hours, and I don't want to go that long. So
Yeah, sure you
I think
don't.
it's about time to
Whatever.
go home.
I'm Clifford L. Johnson.
And I am Rob English. And I'm saying to you, it's late. Hungry. Ready to sign off here. When life hands you adversity, always kick out at 2.
Sweet.
That was the most lame ass. All right, we're going to punch it up. I'm going to say it again. Ready? I'm Robb English, and I'm saying to you, when life hands you adversity, always kick out at 2.
Wait.
Wow.
Sweet.
It's kind of hard being That's better.
Sweet.
That don't worry, be happy?
Yeah. Goodbye, guys.